Hey guys, Brendan Bradford here from Sporting News. We are still recapping and reacting to Vasiliy Lomachenko's loss to Teofimo Lopez over the weekend. I'm joined by Jeff Fenech. Jeff, what did you make of the fight?
Look, first of all, wow, was it a fight? It wasn't the greatest fight I've sat down to watch. To be honest, I thought that Lopez would win. I thought that he had the style to win, and I didn't think he would win that easily. And I didn't think both guys wouldn't do as much as they done. To me, that was the disappointing thing, was that both guys were very reluctant. Both guys took nil risks, and I just thought that was a little upsetting watching the fight. But Lomachenko, as far as I'm concerned, wow, I don't even know what to say. I did hear him saying in an interview that he thought he won the fight. Wow, if you can win a fight by throwing no punches, well, I don't know what fight he thought he was at.
There was, there's a lot being said about, I know he barely threw a punch through 4, 5, 6 rounds. Where did that come from?
And how many did he throw in the last 6? 50? Who knows? But it was terrible. Look, to me, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but I've always kind of thought that he was overhyped because he does other things so brilliantly. Like he can touch lights, he can count numbers, and he can dance, and he can move. Listen, in a fight, you need to know how to fight. You need to know how to fight as a professional. Those numbers and stuff that he touched, that might be good when he's about 80 and he's playing bingo. You can remember what numbers and where the lights are. But what's got nothing to do with winning a boxing fight. I don't know how anybody can compare that training and say that's going to help him win a fight. What helps you win a fight is your mental capacity, saying, listen, I've just got hit 5 times. I've got to hit the guy 7 times back, or I've got to hit him 10 times back. You know, every time he got hit, he done nothing. To me, it was one of the most disappointing, performances I've ever seen from somebody who they say is the best fighter in the world, pound for pound. If he can compare to Floyd, or if he can compare to Manny, or if he can compare to Ray Leonard or Roberto Duran, I've never seen a fight in my life. So,
what I think you're getting at here is there comes a time when you just got to start throwing hands and get down and get dirty. You've never really seen Lomachenko do that, whereas guys like Duran in the past, Manny Pacquiao, even Floyd Mayweather, isn't afraid to actually get in a scrap and throw a few wild punches and things.
All those champions that Floyd beat, they would all beat Lomachenko. I mean, Arturo Gatti, all those guys, they would beat them. They would stop him. I mean, listen, this is my opinion. People can say what they want. I'm not worried one bit. He's overhyped. I mean, listen, like I said, he's got great movement. He was a great amateur. He lost to one amateur fight at a 300 or whatever it was. That's the amateurs. This is a whole different ball game. The pro game's completely different. When he fought, who's the little Cuban boy he fought? I was talking to you about him earlier. Yeah, when he fought Rigondeaux's bending down. This guy's punched him on the top of the head, punched him down. He doesn't even know how to punch up. You know, the professional game's completely different. I mean, like I said, for these guys to be saying that he's the best fighter in the world, pound for pound, and best we've seen for years, that's because there's nothing happening in boxing. They're trying to hype the sport up. This guy's nowhere near one of the best fighters I've seen. I mean, I wouldn't put him in the top 5,000. I couldn't even. I could think of 5,000 names that are better than him that have fought. But look, of course, he can touch lights and he can dance and he can move. Yeah. Why didn't he do that last night? Why didn't he punch last night? In a boxing match, when you're losing, you need to say to yourself, listen, I need to punch. I need to show some kahunas. I need to show some tick. I need to show some mental capacity that I've done this before, and go out. He didn't do that at all. For him to say after the fight that he thought he won, he has to go and watch a video. He knows he didn't win. You've got to throw more punches, and you've got to hit your opponent more than they hit you, and that didn't happen.
What did you make of Teofimo Lopez?
Listen, what can you say? He fought the fight that he needed to do to win. I mean, he was never put in any terrible positions where he had to fight out of them. And I'm sure if he was, he would fight because the kid's a fighter. So he was never put under pressure. He was never made to do any more than he needed to do. And I mean, look, again, for me, it wasn't his greatest performance, but he did exactly what he had to do. He was a Floyd Mayweather performance for him. He just did what he had to do to win the fight, and he done it easily, very, very easily.
And I think you sort of touched on it there, where Lomachenko, he's rated highly in pound for pound and everything, but I mean, he's not a pay-per-view draw. He's not a huge superstar outside dedicated boxing circles. Is it all sort of feed into each other where if you're not putting on these great fights and if you're not willing to throw hands and get dirty, you're not going to pull in a crowd. You're not going to have a massive fan base either.
Look at Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran fought Iran Barkley. Iran Barkley beat Thomas Hearns fight. Styles make fights. But listen, when you're supposed to be the pound for pound champion, you can fight any style. Roberto Duran could box, he could fight, he could do anything. Whatever needed to be done on the day, Roberto Duran would roll his sleeves up and do it. I mean, like Oscar at lightweight would have killed, Lomachenko. I mean, I'm watching, like, look, like I said, I kind of feel like I'm this crazy critic, but I'm not a crazy critic. I'm just somebody who tells the truth. I'm not saying out of these eyes that it's getting paid to say things or through any other, but I've been in the ring and fought, and I know that, wow, to get the raps that he's got because of what he does in training, because he's never done in the ring. He had the opportunity to do it yesterday. He had the opportunity to do it in the ring yesterday and didn't do it. That was about 14 months off. I've had 2 years off. I've had 14 months off with broken hands and came back and fought the number one contender in the world and won every round. So the time off meant nothing. The preparation's everything. You're a great fighter and you spar and you get ready. Yeah, 14 months off was nothing.